So what I thought I'd do now is show you some examples of what you can accomplish with just a tiny bit of knowledge and very little sewing skill, in case you want to give it a try yourself and need some reason to drag out your mom's sewing machine. One of the advantages of making your own gear, whether it's sewing or carpentry or molding it out of clay, is you can make something that perhaps there's no market for and you can't go to the store and buy it that meets your specific needs. For example, I needed a purse. Okay, a man purse. I just wanted a simple bag, something that I could put my wallet and my keys into, so that when I'm mountain biking I can throw this into my hydration bag, or I put it in my gym bag when I go to CrossFit. Just keeps everything all in one place so I know where it all is. I don't carry this around with me on a strap. That would be a little bit too purse-like for me. But and I just made this out of some scrap material from had a little gun bag that I don't use anymore, and this is all ballistic nylon from that. I was going to throw it away, so I cut it up with a pair of scissors, stole the zipper from it, and I've got a useful item. It's really ugly, and it's not sewn very well, but it's held up for several months now and works fine, and it was free. I've made a couple of different stuff sacks out of this ripstop nylon material. I may not ever even use these. They may just get thrown away. They were a little too small or not the right size or configuration for some reason. But I got some practice making them. I can knock one of these out in a few minutes now because I've done it a few times. And you can't really have too many stuff sacks, can you? One of my more ambitious projects so far is the first attempt at an article of clothing. I made a pair of shorts. And unfortunately, I didn't choose the best material for the job, and it's starting to come apart. So these are done for. I probably won't be wearing them anymore, but they held up for a while, and I did a couple of workouts in them. I might do have another go at making some shorts again. I just didn't need a sturdier material, but I got what was on sale because I wasn't even sure if I was going to finish these. But it worked out pretty well. This is actually the first thing I ever sewed, and this was actually from a kit. This is from Ray Jardine. This is his quilt kit. If you're not familiar with the concept of a quilt as opposed to a sleeping bag, take this out. This stow bag was part of the kit and also sewn by me. But a quilt is basically a sleeping bag that has no zipper, and it's intended to be draped on top of you rather than you sleeping inside it completely. So you're not laying on the insulation on the bottom and compressing it, so it's not useful anymore. It's a good system. I've liked it. To buy a finished quilt like this, I probably would have spent a couple of $100. And I think I've spent $100 on the whole kit. This was not an easy project to start with, but again, with very little knowledge or skill and following directions, I was able to make a very functional piece of gear. I've slept with this down into the 20s as far as temperature Fahrenheit. I've used it a couple of dozen times at least over the years, and it's held up remarkably well. It's a great piece of equipment. I love it. I've also made things like, see if I can get my YouTube mojo to work, like this. The straps for a custom bike rack that I made for my Subaru Baja. Alright, technically it's my wife's Subaru Baja. We needed a bike rack for it. It's a kind of an unusual vehicle, so we built one that bolts into the bed using the factory bolt locations for the bed liner, and needed a strap to hold down the rear wheels of the bicycles when they were in the rack. A little bit of Velcro, a little bit of nylon webbing, a couple of buckles. Maybe 10 minutes at the sewing machine, And we've got a pretty good looking and elegant solution, if I do say so myself. And again, this is something you can do with very little skill and almost no knowledge. I know because I did it. So, I hope that gives you some examples of a few things that you can try. This isn't going to always be about sewing, and we've got a lot more stuff to talk about. I do want to do a little bit more sewing to kind of do a real basic overview of you know, how a sewing machine works if you don't even know what a sewing machine looks like. If you know less than nothing, I can bring you up to the level of at least knowing nothing. Stay tuned.